most days. So if you want to see Daddy Jax and get your picture, you go there. So if Katie is there, yeah, ain't bad. Speaking of which,
Okay.
LVP shades, Kyle. Kyle slams LVP. Did you see a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, LVP sat down and did an interview and said, oh, yes, she shared a lot of things. She said, she implied, yes, I've known cast members that have cheated, but I would never say. In typical Lisa Vanderpump passion, oh, darling, I know. No, I'm not going to say what show it's on. It could be The Valley, where I'm an executive producer. If everyone doesn't know, I'm making money off The Valley. It could be Vanderpump Rules. It could be my new show, Vanderpump Villa. I have another new show now with Gordon Ramsay. Or I have a show called RHOBH that I was on, but I have known people that have cheated. But I shall never say, darling, because I am a classy lady. Well, apparently people took that to mean Kyle and Dorit, each respectively, not with each other. And then they asked Kyle about this. Like, what do you think? And Kyle just slammed Lisa Vanderpump back. Tell us about this. You seem to know something about it.
Well, I loved that Call Her Daddy LVP interview. It was sassy. It was great. But, when you hear Kyle's response to that, which Kyle says, LVP is a genius if you don't know her at creating this persona of, oh, I know this, darling, but don't ask. I won't say anything. And is very phony. That is really what Kyle is saying. And
That's
Kyle
what she
said,
said. That's what Dorit said. That's what they all say, that she leaked stories back in the
yes.
day and that she is phony.
She's phony and she can dish it, but she can't take it. And Kyle said, I'd love to talk about her backyard. I would love, and I'm sure, like everybody, right? And they've been in this town a long time. I'm sure there's some skeletons at Villa.
Listen,
And
she did say that. She said, and Kyle doesn't usually clap back like that. She just basically said, like, yeah, her backyard is not clean. Now, look, when you say something like that, your mind also goes to, like, when Crystal says, Sutton did something very dark, your mind goes to racism. When she says about her backyard, I mean, I don't know. I don't think finances. I don't think illegal. I think affair. That's where I go, right? That's where my mind goes. Maybe you're different. Maybe the listeners are different.
I'm sure that I don't know what this stuff is. And to be honest, there a lot of people didn't have come for LVP over the past week or so because LVP continues to defend Tom Sandoval and says the punishment did not fit the crime. Brandi Glanville spoke up this week and said, oh, how ironic that a person who goes, oh, the punishment didn't fit the crime and I don't condone cheating. And yet Brandi says that, LVP called Brandi in to film with the woman that cheated
Scene
on
one.
scene one on Brandi's, with Brandi's husband, with Eddie,
To Brianna with Sheena. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, she was saying, like, it's funny that LVP doesn't condone cheating because she basically launched an
loves it.
entire TV show called Vanderpump Rules on the fact that this whore, Sheena Shea, cheated with my husband. So Brandi often has a point. Again, you asked me who are my favorite interviews of all time are. I will always go back to Brandi. I thought she was great. I thought she was real. Cedric, America's second favorite house guest. We had the first one on. His name is Kato Kalin. But Cedric, Lisa Vanderpump's house guest from the first season, was on this very podcast. And we were in the Daily Mail and the Sun. We went all over the world because Cedric, in no uncertain terms, said Lisa Vanderpump cheated with his boat captain. He was really, I mean, he said these exact words. Now, whichever paper rumored to be in bed with LVP, they would not print it. I forgot. But everyone else, it was in Perez, Page Six, it went all over the world, like that. So Cedric said on this very podcast that Miss Vanderpump cheated and went into details. Go listen to the episode. So I don't know. I mean,
I tend to believe Kyle. I actually believe Kyle on this. I really
I
do.
kind
I'm
of
sure.
do.
I just think LVP is very, very, very calculated. I'm sure.
And listen, I think that Kyle has dirt on LVP. I do. I do think Kyle, like, I do believe Kyle when she's so hurt about Dorit revealing the text and she says, In 14 years, I've never done that. I would never do that. It's just like that age old, like, look at these animals over here in Jersey that basically got the show fucking canceled. But, I believe that Kyle does know stuff about LVP, and I believe it is dark and damaging, or at least damaging to her real life. And Kyle is like, if she really wants to keep going, that's the thing about this modern society. We all text people, we all anything, like, just you never know. I mean, it is exactly what's happening in Jersey. I've had old nose on 3 times, twice, whatever it was. It's like when the person you're in bed with today, when they turn on you, ooh, girl, unless you don't have anything to hide. So, I mean, look, I do think that Kyle probably, I love LVP. I just think Kyle, when she says that, I think it's a real, you almost believed her. Like, you're just like, this woman knows something so dark about LVP. It's not just that, yeah, call the paps or whatever, right? You get the impression it's real life stuff.
Oh, 100%. And I think there's a reason why LVP will never be at a reunion again with Dorit and Kyle and, Lisa Renna. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot there. And I think LVP is probably smart enough to play from afar with just these little jabs and not anything major, because I'm sure she probably has skeletons in her closet.
What
And
a
if
life this
did Cedric
is.
get sued? Is Cedric been sued after coming on your podcast and revealing that?
No, but all the publications, I think one or two were like, we have to see if we can get this past legal, and they did. But I think they all were just like, Cedric allegedly claims this, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying that. Like, he allegedly claims this. That's what he claims. So, well, I guess that would, yeah. No, no, no
Well,
lawsuit. I mean, he
yeah.
also detailed sex orgies with Lance Bass. I mean, he dated Lance Bass. He talked about the sex orgies and whether
Well, that's
Lance was
also
was a
true.
top or a bottom. It was a
Well,
really,
he's a bot? No, he's a top, right?
honey,
Okay.
I can't even remember I'm not even trying to get you to listen to this house. I really, truly just don't. Shows you how much. Now, I mean, if you were
I'm gonna
talking
go back.
about
I love you, but
now,
I'm
if
not.
you were talking about whether Justin Bieber or Timothy Chalamet or Zac Efron were tops or bottoms, darling, I would pay attention. But you
Oh, you
know,
didn't care about Lance.
I mean, it's interesting, but I wasn't really paying attention. You know what I want to talk about?
Ah,
We
what?
have not talked about the one, the only Miss Manzo, detailing the hands that were near her private parts by Miss Glanville. Talk to me.
All right. Well, new story out. And more of this story is about Carolyn saying that no one from production stepped in. One producer eventually stepped in once Brandi had sort of got her in the bathroom and locked her in there. But Carolyn says that
What did Caroline say?
Caroline, thank you. I always say it
It's
wrong.
okay. You say it any way you want. People will have to get over it. People are dying in the world every day. People are being diagnosed with cancer. Let her say Caroline if she wants. Who
Well, by the
cares?
way, Caroline's correct, right? I always say
Caroline. Call me David. I don't give a fuck.
David.
I
You really
mean,
are
I don't
kind of
care.
a David.
I mean,
Um, Anyhow, so it's more about production. She
okay.
alleges, and this is a quote, they saw that I was in distress and yet they continued to film. Okay.